Tell me a little bit about this new political party. It's not a new party, but it's a new government, the Five Star and the League. Who are these people? You mentioned Matteo Salvini, the Interior Minister. Tell me a little bit about the government that has been running Italy since, is it June?
Yes, yes, more or less. It's a really interesting question, and it's something that is not really discussed because it's a coalition between two very different parties, but who are united in this anti-establishment sentiment. So the Five Star movement is really more anti-establishment from the left, and the League is more anti-establishment from the right. So it's this compromise. It's like having Jeremy Corbyn sort of have a coalition with Nigel Farage, you know. So it's really interesting, and it's very scary for the EU because it has both those anti-establishment forces coming together.
Well, that is fascinating, but obviously Matteo Salvini, and I've started to follow him on Twitter. Twitter allows me to translate his tweets, which are almost always in Italian. He takes a very hard line against migration. Now, traditionally, the left is for open borders and open migration. Are you saying that the left-wing part of this coalition is comfortable with Matteo Salvini's decision to close the ports, to enforce the borders? Is the left-wing part of the coalition comfortable with that?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, they support these efforts. There have been some internal, let's say, there has been some opposition in some cases by some members, but the head of the Five Star movement, Luigi Di Maio, has been very supportive of this policy, and he was the first one to actually call the NGO activities in the Mediterranean as a fraud and as a taxi service. So the Five Star movement is a little complicated because they have so many different people inside the movement, but in general, the leadership, yes, supports Matteo Salvini's stance on migration.
Salvini seems very charismatic. He's always out amongst the people. He says things, I'm going to say, in a Trump-like way, and I'm sure he would say he's different than Trump. Everyone likes to say they're different than Trump, but the commonality I say is he's blunt, and if a reporter puts something to him, do you mean to say? He doesn't back down, he doesn't blink. I saw him the other day saying, I'm for immigrants who integrate and are successful, but the rest are fake and they should go home. That's an incredibly blunt thing to say, but that reminds me of something Trump would say when he says, I'm sorry, they've got to go back. Does he compare himself at all to Trump? Does the media compare him to Trump? Are there any other similarities?
Yes, in terms of personality, I would say that both of them present themselves as sort of these men of the people. You know, they're very close to just regular people and their concerns right now. And Matteo Salvini is very much like that. He's very good with social media. He communicates in a way that the average person can relate to, and in many ways he's also kind of funny and amusing. But yes, there are some similarities, and of course, Matteo Salvini supported Trump during the election.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show, weekdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Every day I do a monologue, interview a guest, and read my fan mail and my hate mail. To subscribe, go to therebel.media/shows.